Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am back once again, and I'm now going to go over what some of my favorite Nintendo Switch games were that I enjoyed playing in the 2022 year. I've never really done something like this before, so this is definitely going to be an interesting video to do. So let's see what happens here, shall we? Alright, now, the first game I'm going to talk about here is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which of course released. It came out in March, I believe, of this year. Yeah, and that was definitely a really fun game to play. I definitely enjoyed playing through it, and it's good to see that they finally put Kirby in a 3D universe. I mean, the 2D Kirby games weren't bad. I mean, Kirby Star Allies, even though that was 2D, it was still pretty good, but it was pretty easy, though. Kirby in the Forgotten Land, while it is a nice big upgrade, the game was still a little bit on the easy side. But I definitely did enjoy it, and maybe I'll do another playthrough like in the new year, like in 2023 or something like that. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, that was one game I definitely enjoyed playing in the 2022 year. And then another game that I enjoyed playing in the 2022 year, and this game came out shortly after the beginning of the year started, around the end of January actually, and that game was Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, of course, that game, of course, was the first. I guess you could say the first step toward having an open world Pokemon. It was still pretty linear, uh, but it was a really fun game. A bit of a more difficult Pokemon game, but it was still fun. Like I enjoyed it. Uh, the only thing I really don't like in that game is how you can actually uh, take fall damage. That's kind of a bit annoying, but then again, it was I guess then again they had to do something I guess to make the game more difficult. And plus another thing that they probably could have done more of that game is have some more trainer battles. I mean, there are a few trainer battles in that game, but not really that many. A lot less than one would think. And I guess, which I guess was why to make up for the lack of trainer fights, they had you catch Pokemon pretty much the Let's Go method with with just throwing a ball at the Pokemon and catching them. But that was still a really fun game. I even caught a shiny Luxio in that game, so that was pretty cool. And so yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. And I know the post game portion is pretty lengthy. I kind of stopped after I beat the main game because honestly, I felt like decided I just didn't really want to do anymore. But it's still definitely a fun game. So if you're like a Pokemon fan and I am, then that's a game that's definitely recommended. I would also recommend Kirby the Forgotten Land too, because like I said, that one is a lot of fun. All right, and now the next game I'm going to talk about that I enjoyed a lot in the 2022 year is, well, believe it or not, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, you're probably surprised that I have this on my list, and that's mainly because, to be honest, up to this year, I didn't really have any particular interest in playing the Xenoblade franchise, which is kind of, but Xenoblade 3 kind of changed that, and I guess kind of changed the way I look at video games in general, because I tell you, that game was definitely a lot of fun. And I actually, that it came out at the end of July, And I actually picked that up while I was on my Italy vacation this past summer. And that was pretty much probably the only thing I played for the during from when it came out up to when I got back from Italy. And that's only because I didn't really bring a whole lot of my Switch games with me, like, but when I was on that trip. But yeah, it was still a fun game. Like from the time I started playing it up to I think I was up to Canadian Thanksgiving. It took me a little over 2 months, maybe 2.5 months or so, to beat that game, and that was a lot of fun. I may possibly do a let's play of this at some point in the new year, but we'll have to see what happens. But I still enjoyed that game a lot, and well, it's really fun. Like the story in that game, as well as the characters, they're all amazing, and the music in that game was really good too. And of course, it got nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards a few weeks ago, but unfortunately, it did not win. Thanks to Elden Ring. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. The next game I'm gonna talk about that I enjoyed playing in the 2022 year was Splatoon 3. Now, granted, I'm not that much of a Splatoon person, but from what I did play with it, it was pretty fun. I mean, the I know that game has a story mode, but really, it's more meant for playing online with friends. Like that's always the best part is playing online, and but yeah, Splatoon's always a lot of fun, and I know for a fact that they released a Splatoon themed uh, OLED about 2 weeks before that game came out, but I didn't pick up that particular variant, but which is okay. I mean, not everybody has to like everything, and I don't think they even have the Splatoon variant OLED anymore. Because the thing is, like special edition consoles like that, they're usually made in like limited supply, which means once they're gone, they're gone. So the chance of me probably being able to find one of those OLEDs now, brand new, are pretty much zilch. But like I said, it's a variant that I'm not really gonna worry about trying to get anyway. But yeah, definitely a fun game. And I know uh, that my friend Leaf Apollo loves Splatoon a lot, and he's more likely gotten a lot more mileage out of that game than I have. But it's still pretty fun and fun. So yeah, Splatoon 3 is definitely a good game. Definitely a good game. Alright, and then another one that I enjoyed playing on the Switch in the 2022 year, believe it or not, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Now, that game, of course, came out, Splatoon 3, by the way, came out in September. The Fire Emblem Warriors game I'm about to talk about here, that came out in June. Now, Fire Emblem, that's not really a franchise I take particular interest in, but I do like playing some of the Warriors games from time to time. Like, and they're pretty fun, but they can also be a bit challenging, like regardless of what difficulty level you have it set on. But it's still a lot of fun regardless. So, like the hacking and slashing of enemies. Yeah, that's a really fun. Yeah, those kind of action games are definitely the best. So, you like those kind of games, then definitely pick that up. You'll be very happy with that. Then another Nintendo Switch game that I enjoyed a lot actually wasn't made by Nintendo themselves, and that is Fall Guys. Now, I know what you're thinking. Didn't Fall Guys technically come out in 2020? It did, yes. However, the free-to-play version came out earlier this year in June, which was right around the time that both the Nintendo Switch and Xbox ports released. So for that reason, I'm including it on this list. Now, I did play the game a fair bit on the Switch version when it launched on there, but but apparently there were some issues on the Switch version that I don't know if they ever addressed. Like, for example, when I tried playing it, because I know that, like, the first time I played it on Switch, and this happened in dot mode, more in dot mode, where like after 40 minutes or whatever, it would crash, and then I'd have to reload. That tended to happen more in dot mode, but when I did it in handheld on my other Switch, which at that point was my regular V2 Switch, that didn't happen. Now, but it was still a lot of fun, and that was actually, and I actually started really getting into Fall Guys a few weeks before the free-to-play version came out, where I basically what happened was, once I heard it was coming to Switch, I basically bought the PC version just so I could get some practice in. Well, I don't have the well, actually no, I do still have the PC version. I guess technically, I just don't use it anymore. I actually play the game more on Xbox now because that version seems to be more stable from what I've noticed. But yeah, it's really a fun game. I even won a couple of crowns. I've won 2 of them, so maybe I can get some more in the new year. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that is a really fun game. And then the last game that I'm going to talk about, one that I really enjoyed in the 2022 year, was Mario Party Superstars. Now, again, this is technically a cheat since Mario Party Superstars released. Actually, no, there's 2 more I'm going to talk about, pardon me. This next one being Mario Party Superstars, which, as I was starting to say, is technically a cheat since it came out near the end of 2021. But 2022 was the first full year that it was available on the marketplace. And honestly, that game was probably my most played Switch game this year. Definitely a lot of fun. I just wish they would have put more boards in it. Like 5 boards isn't too bad, but they could have done a bit more with that game. Like, they could have, like, put a couple more boards in at least, like maybe 1 or 2 more. And definitely a few more items, like, for the shop. That would have been nice. So, some more content would have been nice, like, in terms of boards. But the amount of minigames that are in there is perfect. I don't think they really need to add any more. Because, and plus, with all those minigames, you get a lot of variety. And that game, it actually has more minigames in one single version of Mario Party than any other version, I do believe. Because if you remember, the first 2 Mario Party games on the N64, I think, had 50 mini games each, and then the third one had, I think, like 60 or something like that. But yeah, like this. Yeah, for the most part, a lot of the mini games they chose to put in Superstars are really good ones. I mean, there are some questionable choices, but overall, though, it's a really good game. Definitely going to be playing more of that in 2023. And now, finally, the last game that I'm going to talk about that I enjoyed a lot in 2022 is one that released about a month and a half ago, and that game, of course, is currently featured as my main Let's Play on my channel, and that is Pokemon Scarlet. Now, usually with these new Pokemon games, they actually release them like in a bundle pack. In this case, a dual pack. In this case, at the same time. Like in this case, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. So we're going to group those 2 together, and I've definitely enjoyed playing those. Although I kind of been playing Scarlet more than I have Violet, but that's okay. But yeah. And of course, this is the first true fully open world Pokemon game in the history of the franchise, which is definitely a lot of fun. And I have not caught or found any shinies yet in either of these games, but hopefully I get one soon, but we'll have to see what happens. And like I said, I do have a Let's Play of this going on right now. At this point, 30 episodes have aired, and there's 5 more that are supposed to come out next week, which will bring it up to 35. I have a total of, well, right now there's 78 that are uploaded, which means there's 48 that still have to be released. And then, of course, there were the 3 that I filmed last night, which brings the total to 81. So, I started filming Area Zero last night. I might try and finish that later today, but we'll see what happens there. But despite the issues that it's had, like with the frame drops and the other issues that it's had, it's still like a really fun game. I mean, it's Pokemon, so what do you expect? Anyway, so now that's it for the Nintendo Switch games that I enjoyed most in the 2022 year. Now, and I guess we can go over some of the games that are supposed to come out in 2023. Now, obviously, the full lineup from Nintendo for 2023 hasn't been fully decided on yet, but we already know of a few things that are coming out. Like, for example, in a few weeks, Fire Emblem Engage is going to be coming out on the Switch on January 20th. Probably not going to pick that game up because, like I said before, I'm not really into Fire Emblem. But the one that's coming out in February, February, Kirby's Return to Dreamland remake. That one I have pre-ordered, and I'm going to be picking up. There'll probably be a Let's Play of that on the channel as well. And there's also a remaster of Tales of Symphonia that's supposed to come out in February as well. So I'll probably pick that up at some point and give that a try. It would be a brand new game for me though, because I've never played the original Tales of Symphonia. Then of course there's the big one in May that a lot of people are looking forward to. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I am not going to get because I'm not really a big of a Zelda player, but I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that are going to be getting their hands on that game. That is going to be a big seller for sure. I can guarantee that much. So that's basically what we know about so far for 2023. Then I guess the rest of the gaps will be filled in. Well, some of the remaining gaps, I guess, will be filled in whenever Nintendo has their next Direct, which I'm guessing will probably be maybe in the early part of February, so maybe a little over a month from now. But obviously, that's not my decision to make. That's Nintendo's decision, so we'll see what happens there. And yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully, you've all enjoyed. And we've got a Mario Party Superstars showdown that's coming up a little bit later, so do stay tuned for that.